I feel like I'm getting hammered.
Caitlin Clark spent the previous season taking cheap shots, getting hacked, and dealing with defenders who believed they could intimidate her into stopping her. However, that era is officially over because the Indiana Fever have 3 enforcers on their roster who won't put up with any more of that crap.
The closest thing they had was Erica Wheeler. That was the closest thing they had for someone to defend Caitlin Clark was Erica freaking Wheeler. Maybe Temi, but Caitlin Clark was getting hit a lot. She was getting hit a lot early and they needed their Charles Oakley.
Enter Howard. Natasha, if Clark's detractors believed they could continue to target her with hard fouls and dirty plays, they are about to receive a rude awakening. Sophie Cunningham and Dananna Bonner are 3 seasoned stars who play with an edge and aren't afraid to go tough. The message is very clear. You'll have to deal with them first if you pursue Clark.
So the Indiana Fever have got their enforcer. They have got their enforcer for Caitlin Clark. And I'm not gonna lie, like, when it comes to Caitlin Clark and their enforcer, last year everyone was talking about them needing an enforcer.
The Fever aren't just here to compete. They're here to dominate. With these new acquisitions, they've assembled a team that can play fast, play tough, and most importantly, protect their star player. This move isn't just about adding talent. Now that Clark's bullies have been formally warned, let's examine how these 3 game changers will turn the Fever into one of the WNBA's most formidable teams.
That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the court.
Imagine this when Caitlin Clark, the most captivating rookie the WNBA has seen in years, takes the court for her rookie season. The energy is electric, fans are on the edge of their seats, and everyone is expecting her to put on a show. However, rather than a smooth transition into the league, she receives hard fouls, needless contact, and a level of physicality that almost seemed to be targeting what was going on.
Sometimes you need one of those players on your team. You need one of those enforcers. Every good player, by the way. Every good player, every good team that is a super duper star. Most of the time have enforcer type play.
Let's be clear. This wasn't your average rookie treatment. Here's where it gets shocking. Clark was dealing with a level of aggression that went beyond competition. She was frequently hit with cheap shots, body checks, and fouls that had no place in the game. At times, it felt more like she was entering a wrestling ring than a basketball court. The numbers don't lie. 177% of all flagrant fouls in the WNBA last season were committed against Clark. That's not just tough defense. It's a blatant sign that players were deliberately roughing her up. Clark wasn't just another rookie getting used to physical play.
What little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. That's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
And taking the lead, the Chicago Sky were the team that committed an astounding 80% of the flagrant fouls against Clark. This isn't just a coincidence. It's a statement. They weren't merely attempting to defend her. They were trying to send a message. Why was it intimidation, frustration, or just a traditional attempt to slow down a rising star? Whatever the reason, it was clear that some players were uncomfortable with Clark's presence.
I think we went up really strong a lot of times and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back and looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people got a special.
One of the worst examples came from Angel Ree herself. Picture Clark driving through the lane with her eyes fixed on the basket. Suddenly, Ree sends her crashing to the floor. The arena went silent, and fans held their breath, wondering if she would get up. The hit was so severe that even commentators began to wonder if it had gone too far, but Clark, who's built differently, got back up and continued playing as if nothing had happened.
Clark! Hammer!
That is what makes Clark unique. Her poise under duress. Carter Clark responded simply, "That's just not a basketball play, but gotta play through it." No complaints, no retaliation, just the kind of mental toughness that makes legends, while others debated whether the hits were excessive.
And Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it Unnecessary. Kennedy Carter.
Although Clark demonstrated her ability to withstand blows, the Fever front office realized they couldn't allow her to play another season without protection, so they made significant changes. With the addition of some serious enforcers, Indiana is ensuring that no one gets away with bullying Clark any longer. Who are these enforcers, and how are they going to completely alter the Indiana Fever's dynamic? Let's get started.
The signing of Natasha Howard represents a massive step forward for the Indiana Fever and their quest for a championship. In Howard, the Fever gain a three-time WNBA champion, a Defensive Player of the Year, an All-Star, and a veteran with more than 300 games played.
The instant Natasha Howard entered the locker room, it was evident that she was more than just another member of the Indiana Fever. She was the enforcer the squad sorely needed. Caitlin Clark is no longer a simple target for strangers. Howard is a former Defensive Player of the Year, a three-time WNBA champion, and a player with a tenacity that shifts. She's not here for tricks. She's here to ensure that Clark's days of being harassed on the court are finished.
All of that, and we haven't yet touched upon what Howard does best: defend. Howard was named Defensive Player of the Year in 2019 and has finished in the top 10 of the Defensive Player of the Year voting 3 times in her career. Howard has averaged at least 1 block and 1 steal per game in each of her last 7 seasons. And that versatility is really what makes her a weapon on defense.
Last season, Clark was subjected to relentless physicality from defenders who believed they could rough her up without repercussions. However, those same defenders will now have to reconsider their actions because Howard's presence alone is enough to change the balance of power. Standing next to Clark on the court, she immediately commands respect, but Howard isn't just about enforcing. Last season, she averaged 17.6 points, 6.7 rebounds, and nearly 3 assists per game. Elite-level production. The best part is that she can stretch the floor with Howard's ability to hit from beyond the arc. She will make even more room for Aaliyah Boston and Clark Kelsey Mitchell to work.
Last season, with a minimum of 25 games played, Natasha Howard was one of just 13 players to average 18 points per game. She was one of 16 players to average 7 rebounds per game. And the list of players to average both 18 and 7 last year, short and elite. A'ja Wilson, Breanna Stewart, Napheesa Collier, Brittany Griner, and yes, Natasha Howard.
But defense is where Howard really shines, which is why she won Defensive Player of the Year in 2019. She is a nightmare for opponents trying to score in the paint because of her length, physicality, and aggressive style, which make life miserable for anyone trying to challenge her. As for protecting her teammates, let's just say that she has a history of standing up when it matters most. Here's what might be the most valuable aspect of Howard's arrival playoff experience. The Fever are a young team with a lot of promise, but they need a level of leadership and poise that only veterans can offer to make deep postseason runs. Having participated in more than 50 postseason games, Howard's experience is priceless. She understands what it takes to succeed and is bringing that mindset to Indiana.
But that wingspan and 6'2" height allows her to be disruptive defensively around the rim on opposing bigs too. In fact, Howard will enter the 2025 season 25th all-time in blocks in WNBA history.
In her own words, "I'm excited to return to Indiana and bring my experience and toughness to the team. I want to help Caitlin and the Fever compete at the highest level." This move isn't just about protecting Clark, it's about elevating her. Howard knows what it takes to be a champion, and now she's here to show Clark and the Fever how to dominate with her in the mix. Indiana isn't just fighting back, they're ready to take over.
Caitlin Clark was getting hit a lot. She was getting hit a lot early and they needed their Charles Oakley. You've got that in Sophie Cunningham.
The WNBA has become much more intriguing since Sophie Cunningham is moving to Indiana. If Caitlin Clark needed someone to control the bullies while draining threes, she just got her the Fever. This offseason, they weren't just searching for talent. They also wanted toughness, and Cunningham had both.
There were there are so many videos of Sophie Cunningham just starting brawl.
Some people may be wondering Sophie Cunningham wasn't supposed to be luring Clark to Phoenix, but it turned out that Clark had other plans. Rather than going west, she made sure Cunningham joined her squad. This wasn't a random signing. Rather, it was a calculated move. The Fever needed someone who could bring relentless toughness, energy, and attitude, and Cunningham fits the bill.
Sophie Cunningham, in general, is just wild. Wild is the best word I can use to describe Sophie Cunningham. And, like, it is just, it's carnage. Like, it's carnage a lot of the time when Sophie Cunningham gets involved with anything. The amount of fights that Sophie Cunningham has been involved in is mental.
Let's discuss what makes Cunningham's wingspan in 6'2" height so ideal. First off, she's not just a tough player. She's an elite marksman from beyond the arc. Last season, she shot 37.8% from beyond the arc, and with Clark leading the offense, expect that number to rise even further. Imagine that defense is attempting to guard Clark and Mitchell while Cunningham is spotting up from 3. Good luck with that.
She hits a 3, Maisha Hines-Allen fouls her, and then tries to step over, and then Sophie Cunningham grabs her leg. Nobody's going near Maisha Hines-Allen, but no, Sophie Cunningham will start the fight. The refs are trying to break it up. None of the Mercury players are going to go near Maisha Hines-Allen. They're scared. She'll scare the bejesus out of them. Maisha Hines-Allen is one of the toughest players in this league. Sophie Cunningham going head to head straight with her.
However, Cunningham offers more than just shooting. She has a mean streak, plays through contact, speaks her mind, and backs it up. In addition, she is a black belt in Taekwondo, so any defenders considering going overboard with Clark this season might want to reconsider.
Sophie Cunningham, there are so many things where it's like, part of it her fault, part of it not her fault, but she will not back down. She will not back down under any circumstances from anything. And that is what the Indiana Fever need. If somebody hits Caitlin Clark, if somebody does what Victoria Vivians did to Caitlin Clark, it's not going to be Caitlin Clark that's getting involved to be teed up. Sophie Cunningham's in there. You take the technical foul. Let's now see how the Fever's lineup is altered by this move. Cunningham fills in as a versatile wing who can shoot, defend, and offer that seasoned leadership. Last season, she averaged 8.4 points, 3.9 rebounds, and 2.0 assists per game. Not superstar statistics, but precisely what Indiana needed. She won't demand the ball, but when she does, she'll make defenses pay. Like Sophie Cunningham is guarding the screen here, and she just takes a hard hit. Nothing major. So she's down. And then, after taking a hard hit, just gets back up and laughs.
More significantly, Cunningham is the kind of player that excels in high-pressure situations. She is resilient, experienced, and never backs down from a challenge, whether it's hitting a critical 3, locking up an opposition guard, or stepping in when things go rough.
Takes the hard hit and goes down, obviously, gets back up and just laughs. Like, that's a legitimate thing where you're like, okay, yeah, this is a person who is just, like, there is a toughness there with Sophie Cunningham. And, like, she's not scared.
And let's discuss spacing. Defenses cannot just collapse on Clark and Boston if teams attempt to double because of Cunningham's presence. Clark Cunningham's ability to spread the floor will make the Fever's offense even more dangerous as she waits on the perimeter, ready to make them pay.
So, yeah, like, a solid signing for what she does on the floor. But, like, be protecting Caitlin Clark type thing.
Naturally, the key question is how Cunningham's tough, forceful manner will work with Clark's grace. Will she be the enforcer the Fever needs to keep their superstar safe? Or will things get a bit too intense? There is little doubt that Indiana has become much more formidable, and the rest of the WNBA needs to pay attention.
Just a smart player. You already see what she's done in her rookie season, and I think she gets the ball to people in the right positions to help them be successful, so that's huge. And I'm hoping that I can give her a little bit more leadership and knowledge for her to understand this league a little bit better. And like I said, when playoffs hit, she'll be...
With WNBA titles, numerous all-star appearances, and a reputation as one of the most versatile forwards in the league, DeWanna Bonner isn't just joining the Indiana Fever to fill a roster spot. She's here to redefine the team's culture, inject championship-level experience, and turn this young squad into a force to be reckoned with. She's already making it clear that the Fever aren't here to be a rebuilding project anymore. They're here to win now.
First game in Indiana, we got to get a win.
Now picture Bonner joining this Fever team on the court. Holding down the paint is Aaliyah Boston. Caitlin Clark is in charge of the attack. With Bonner's elite defense, clutch scoring, and unparalleled ability to stretch the floor in addition to Kelsey Mitchell's shooting and Sophie Cunningham's blazing intensity, this isn't just a minor improvement. It's a whole makeover. With Bonner on board, Indiana transforms from a promising young team into a serious contender for the championship. Contender.
What excites you the most about this team that you're going to be joining?
I mean, they have dynamic pieces in CC and Kelsey Mitchell and AB, Lexi Hall. I mean, they have a great core, so why not just add to that and try to, take us to the next level in the playoffs. They were in first round, and I played against them in the first round, and the way they came back the second game, it just makes you excited to, okay, I want to be a part of that. They didn't lay down and quit. They came back and actually tried to beat us early, that next.
However, Bonner's dedication to her colleagues is what really sets her apart, not only her skill set. She's not just going through the formalities and signing a contract. She's actively trying to take Mitchell and Clark Boston to new heights, and she's already researching their tendencies. Analyzing movies and determining how to make the most of their advantages, that's the difference between a leader who wants to make a lasting impression and a veteran who just wants to finish their career. The Fever had all the pieces. They were just lacking the final bit of toughness and veteran leadership to put it all together, and Bonner could be the final component that makes this team a powerhouse.
Like I said, hopefully I can make her job a little easier and she can make mine a little easier. But I think she's a great person, and we, been kind of connecting here. We had a great workout this morning, and it was fun. She's a fun kid.
Additionally, there is the relationship between Bonner and Caitlin Clark. Despite having played with some of the best guards in WNBA history, Bonner believes that Clark is special because of her ability to create impossible passes and shoot from a distance. Unrelenting rivalry. Bonner respects Clark's ability to push elite athletes to improve, and she is now stepping in to help Clark achieve superstardom. Clark plays with a chip on her shoulder.
Kind of went on this crazy run, and they were the most well-gelled team at that time. They went from the bottom straight, and they just kept trending. And it was like one of those teams you're like, man, you don't want to really see them in the playoffs. So we got the matchup, and I think our experience helped us very well. But that second game, they came out, and it was like, they just kind of went on this trajectory that was just like on the rise, and it was literally Fever on the rise during right after that All-Star. So that's exciting. That's exciting for me to see, and that kind of helped me with my.
When you think back to the previous season, the Fever were always on the verge of success. They had games where they looked unstoppable, moments where their potential was evident, but what they lacked was experience from someone who knows what it takes to win in the postseason, close out games under pressure, and lead a team when the stakes are highest. That's exactly what Bonner brings. She's not just thrilled to play with Clark, she's determined to make her even better.
That experience to a young, maturing team, what can you provide?
I'm hoping that I can provide a little bit of leadership, but I feel like they're a team that last year helped them a lot and understand the dynamics of playoffs. It's a whole different ball game when playoffs come, and I feel like they're a young team, but they're a good team, and hopefully I can just provide the knowledge and explain playoffs to them a little bit better so we can be better prepared and don't get punched in the face the first game. And it's hard to come back when you do that the first game. It's hard to come back and try to win 2 straight against a veteran team. So I think they got.
What does Bonner's arrival actually mean for Indiana? In a nutshell, everything for a team that is still learning how to win. Her championship mentality and playoff experience may be the last piece of the puzzle. She has played under pressure and experienced intense playoff battles, and now she's bringing all of that to a team that is on the rise. This is more than just a veteran signing. It's a declaration that the Fever are done waiting for the future. The Fever just added a proven winner to a roster that was already loaded with young talent. Mitchell, Boston. This is a club that can succeed. It's not only entertaining to watch. The Indiana Fever performance is almost approaching, so the only issue left is whether you're prepared for it.
Your current team has made some interesting moves the last few days. How do you feel about what your roster suddenly looks like?
I'm excited. Obviously, we made some great moves. I think, Kelly and Amber and the whole, Fever organization are, they're helping us win now. And I think that's really important. I think they're putting really good pieces together that are gonna, complement each other really, really well.
The WNBA is on high alert after the Indiana Fever executed the ultimate power move. They went from rebuilding to championship contenders in an instant, and the bullies who thought they could get away with cheap shots are about to have a serious wake-up call with Natasha Howard. The message is clear. Indiana isn't here to play nice. They're here to take over. Sophie Cunningham and Deanna Boner, with their toughness and experience, have the ideal combination of skill and grit. Clark has an army behind her, and this squad isn't just looking to compete, they're looking to dominate. If you're excited, let us know in the comments by clicking the video on the screen, subscribing, and turning on all notifications so you never miss it. We'll see you in the next one.